What up, y'all? This is ASTRODIM here, giving you a special give you something special here, talking about the wounded healer himself, Chiron. Okay. So I wanted to kind of teach. Well, first of all, this is the topic of the motherfucking month. Okay, everybody, put your hands together because it's the topic of the month, and we're gonna go deeper and deeper into the Chiron and how you can navigate that shit. Okay. So you know, guys, I like to use astro.com. Chiron is available if you go to the extended horoscope version or page on astro.com, where it says additional objects. Chiron is listed as the first asteroid on there. Okay, Chiron. Definitely check where yours is at. Chiron is a slow moving asteroid. Is technically so some astronomers call it an asteroid, some astronomers call it a dwarf planet. Regardless, dwarf planets are treated very similar to asteroids when it comes to aspects. Only use a 3-degree orb for those. Okay, don't go above that. Just don't. Okay, but what I definitely suggest you guys to do is look and see where your Chiron is. It's slow moving, so most likely your Chiron is the same as other people's who was born around you. But if you're interested in knowing what the asteroid number is 2060. Okay, but you may be wondering, okay, like, why do I have to look at where Chiron is in my chart? Like, why is this important? Well, Chiron represents how you are a wounded healer. It's such a deep, beautiful, Sammy and Chill's already talking about it. It's such a deep, beautiful aspect of astrology that touches my motherfucking heart. Okay, it really does. It's incredible. So when it comes to Chiron, what this energy represents is the most significant when it comes to your natal chart. By the way, I'll talk about transit in a second too. The most significant childhood trauma that you've had. Now, you may think like, okay, my Chiron's in a particular place, and I feel like that wasn't the most significant childhood trauma I had. I've been through worse. I've seen this. I went through that. I experienced this. But strange enough, you were able to heal that trauma that may seemed, more intense than the trauma that Chiron is trying to show you. Okay. The special thing about Chiron's placement is it shows you a childhood trauma that you've experienced that you've actually held on into your adulthood. So you may have experienced a tougher trauma that Chiron's not speaking of. However, you were able to heal it, or, you were able to heal a little, even just a bit of it. With this childhood trauma is you moving into your adulthood with this trauma. And what happens is basically you kind of are programmed by this trauma, if that makes any sense. You're programmed by this trauma to do certain things that are just not right for you. That's not the most healthy. And you start having repeated, action, repeated behavior, and not realizing, almost stupefied, for instance, not realizing how it's hurting you. You know what I mean? And so usually what happens in a natural sense, for people who are not astrologers, or people that are interested in astrology or spirituality, naturally what they do is around their Saturn return, they're like, well, oh shit, I have this repeated trauma that I keep going through and keep experiencing, and I don't know why. I keep doing this thing over and over again. I need to heal this. And so they try to heal it, right? Now, the reason why this happens around their Saturn return is because Chiron and Saturn has a close connection. Chiron, in the Chiron myth, is the son of Kronos and Philyra. I might be pronouncing this incorrectly, but Philyra. And Kronos is Saturn, okay? And so Kronos and Saturn is the same archetype. And so that's why it usually happens around your Saturn return, just before your Saturn return. If you're not into like astrology, you realize it then. And even if you're into astrology, because guys, I've been studying astrology since I was like 14, been interested in it even before then, right? But I started like drawing charts and shit and really getting into like the depthness of charts, birth charts, when I was 14. And I knew about Chiron, was aware of it. Saw the connections of my childhood trauma. It was like, all right, cool. But when it was my Saturn return, that's when I saw the intensity and severity of this repeated behavior that I had, and how I need to fix it, because it's a part of my life purpose, one big part of my life purpose. You know what I mean? And how I need to find authority within my life. And the reason why it's connected again is because Chiron in the myth was the son of Kronos. Okay. But anyways, let's continue. So like, this is how it usually goes, right? It's around your Saturn return. You realize you have this repeated behavior. Like, wow, I need to address this. This is fucked up, right? And so you start addressing this childhood trauma. Start building upon this healing for it, right? Trying to heal it yourself. And really start to address the issue so you can turn this trauma into something like a lesson learned, and to become a better and stronger person. And the beautiful thing about Chiron is, like, although like it's a trauma, you stuck with it for a long time, and you know, the healing process could be very difficult, right? The universe sees you trying to heal yourself, right? And it's not because the universe sees it, but what's happening, the reason why the universe sees it is because, you know, you're like, while you're healing and, you know, projecting positivity, you send positive waves to the universe. And so the universe will, again, like I always say, like with manifestation, boomerang that positivity back to you. And so when it comes to Chiron, while you're healing and sending those healing waves naturally just from you healing yourself, what Chiron does is it brings people who've experienced similar childhood traumas to you. Right? Now, they send different types of people. They send people who are in the same healing process and stage as you. They send people who are that experience the same trauma, but are in like a higher healing stage, so they can help you become stronger, you know? And of course, the people that are in the similar healing stage as you, you know, you guys can relate with each other and get each other. But they also send people who are not yet at that stage of healing. So you can put them on to certain things. So you're getting put on to certain things. You're putting people on to certain things when it comes to healing. And then literally you, through your healing process, is starting and continuing a healing wave when it comes to this childhood trauma that you have and what other people have. And you start to become the example. You know what I mean? And you start to really heal yourself and heal others. This is why it's called the wounded healer in an astrological sense, because although you went through this childhood trauma yourself, you know what I mean? Although you went through this pain yourself, you've found a way how to heal yourself, and now you're healing others just naturally. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It really is. It's one of the most inspiring, dwarf planets and asteroids in astrology. I love it. I think it's really beautiful. And although it can be tough, it can be hard, it is a lifelong lesson. Similar to North Nodes, it is something that you have to continuously heal. It's not just a one-shot thing where like, okay, I healed it, I'm done now. No, you always got to heal it. You know, it's just that you're put on to it at a certain time, and then now it's your duty to realize it and to unprogram yourself from that trauma that you've experienced. You know what I mean? And it's beautiful because while you heal yourself, you are continuously meeting people, beautiful examples of a similar trauma, and they can help you and you help them. And it's just a beautiful healing wave, healing circle and wave at the same time. Motherfucker. God damn. Okay. It's beautiful. And so you may wonder, okay, like, how do you know this interpretation, Demi? Like, okay. So of course there's a lot of stuff out here about Chiron. And I remember when I first, I actually used to do these mini readings for free for people just to put my name out there. And one of the first things I gave readings for was, Chiron, people's Chiron placements. And, that's the kicker. Like, I can usually convince someone of astrology by looking at their Chiron, because you can really see really tap into people's like inner conflictions, I guess, conflicted area. I don't know. And like, you can really open their eyes and see like, and just kind of show them like, yo, this shit's real, and because how would I know that's a trauma of yours? How can I know that's always on your mind? You get what I'm saying? It's really interesting. But like, that was the first thing that I did. And there's a lot of information out there about Chiron, and I agree with a lot of the astrologers and what they say about it. But, I do have my own little versions of like a little understandings of what it is. And so what I like to do is kind of just show y'all or speak to you guys about the myth of Chiron, give my general interpretation of it, and then just like drop that little nugget for you guys so you can see how it goes with your chart. Of course, because it's the topic of the month, that this is going to be the mini reading of the month as well. I might also do something on Sedna. I just said might. You'll see, okay? But definitely I'm going to talk about Chiron. Chiron's the main focus for this month, okay? And so if you're interested in the mini reading, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start it next week, right? But if you want like a general mini reading where I just talk about your specific placement and that's it, I'm going to have a pre-recorded version of that I'll send to you. You know what I mean? And you can listen to that, and that will be, I'm thinking of maybe $10. I'll let you know when I complete it. And then if you want like an actual reading of me looking at your chart, looking at the placement and aspects of your Chiron, that'll be between like $15-$20. I'm still trying to figure that out too. So I have a pre-recorded version, and I'll also have a personalized version. But let's go ahead and just talk about Chiron, okay? Just in general. So, hey guys, AstroDim here. Thank you for listening to the Chiron teaser for the topic of the month. If you're interested in listening to the whole entire explanation of Chiron, which is about 40 minutes, and I really get in depth and I have my interpretations, is lit, okay? If you're interested in listening to the whole thing, go to astrodim.space. That's ASTRODIM.space, SPACE. Go ahead and look at the Cosmic Life blog, and the latest post should be this. So go ahead, learn more about Chiron, and thank you for listening. All right, y'all. Again, astrodim.space. Yes. Listen, get a mini reading. Ooh.